Hey, how's it going? This is Monjyoti. I'm a productivity coach, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about confidence. Confidence is something that I come across quite often, and it is something that people talk about and people want to know. And many people are confident and are growing in confidence, but many people would like to know how to grow in more confidence, and they want to know what confidence is all about. So I just thought I will share my views on what confidence is. So confidence is not a product of our wishes and wants, right? Confidence is more of an accumulative effect of tiny little things that we do or we do not do over a period of few months or years or a decade. Right? Because tiny little things, they stack up and then translates into this big feeling in our nervous system, that is either confidence or lack of confidence. So it's not something that we get by wishing or wanting it, and it's not even something that we are born with. It's not a personality trait, or some people are born confident, some people are not, right? It's more of an accumulative effect of tiny little things over a period of time, right? So let's talk about low confidence, lack of self-confidence. So it's more of an accumulative effect of tiny little acts of self-betrayal. Meaning every time you betray yourself. How do you betray yourself? When you do not follow through on things that you promise yourself. When you do not follow through on things that you know you could have followed through on because it was slightly uncertain, it was uncomfortable, or you were scared, or it didn't feel right, or you were not ready, something along those lines, but you knew deep down in your heart that you could have done it, or at least you could have attempted it. It's not about being successful. Many a time it's just about attempting, just going and attempting and following through on certain things, because sometimes it's hard to follow through. But every time you follow through on the face of uncertainty or difficulty or fear, or when you feel you're not ready or you're not sure, but you go ahead and take that first step anyway, you actually build a little bit of strength, you build a little bit of self-worth. And when you don't do that, you lose a little bit of self-worth. And these tiny little accumulations of self-worth, if you have been building self-worth, little, each one of these events are so insignificant that you won't even notice it probably. You'll be tempted to overlook, like these are so simple, seemingly insignificant events in our day-to-day lives, but when they come together and they stack up, it translates into this feeling, and we feel that it's just a stroke of fortune or misfortune. We are confident or we are not confident. Some other people are gifted with confidence and we are not gifted with confidence. That's not the case. It's more of an accumulative effect of tiny little choices that we make or we do not make. So essentially it boils down to your ability to follow through. Because what is confidence? Confidence is you trusting in your ability to see things through. And that does not necessarily mean that you're expecting things to go your way. It means that even if things do not go your way, even if there might be uncertainty, you will figure it out. You will do something, you'll find a way. Why? Because you have evidence to support that. So we are evidence-based machines. So merely wanting or wishing something doesn't work. It needs to be backed up by evidence. Because every time we want to think about confidence or lack of confidence, our brain automatically looks for past evidence. That's an automatic process that happens. Right? And so you need to have enough reference points or evidences of tiny little choices that you made in your favor, right? Where you actually built a little bit of self-worth, tiny microscopic addition. Every time you do that, you actually grow in a little bit of self-confidence, self-worth, or self-trust. And the opposite of that, you don't trust in your ability to see things through. You don't trust yourself, and that translates into low self-confidence or loss of faith or even loss of hope, or just a nagging, annoying sensation that this is also not going to work, right? So it boils down to following through. It boils down to starting things. So you have to practice starting things on a daily basis. You know, you could use your environment. This could be your day-to-day environment or your business or your workplace, and look for little things to start without thinking, right? Because if you give yourself long enough timeline to start things, your brain might step in and talk you out of that. That's just the way the brain functions. You have to override that pattern by doing things on the face of uncertainty, even though you feel unsure, you know, even though you might be a little fearful. Because most of these small things where you can actually practice building your starting muscle, the stakes are not high. These are just small things. This could be as simple as making your bed. Just get started and do that. Working out, just get started, do some stretching. Just do it for maybe 3 minutes or 5 minutes or something like that. Make it small and simple and make it less overwhelming, but start immediately. Or other ways, give yourself like a 7-second timeline or 5-second timeline. You decide to do something, and then if you do not act within 7 seconds, just go out there and do it anyway. Just start. And then you'll pick up momentum, right? And when you practice starting things on the face of uncertainty, you know, before your survival brain steps in and actually makes you procrastinate or makes you push off things, and some of these things are pushed off indefinitely, isn't it? So every time you override that inner voice, that inner critic, that impulse that is trying to keep you safe actually, but you win over that. Every time you win over that, you grow in self-worth, you grow self-trust, you increase your faith a little bit in your ability to follow through, your ability to begin. And they say like 80% or 90% of anything that you do is actually showing up, which is basically starting. So take the first step and don't overcomplicate it. Don't think way too much. Don't overthink it, and practice starting things. All right. Maybe if you start, let's say 5 things a day, small things, you know, doing the dishes, making your bed, doing some stretching, you know, doing 1 minute of meditation, or I don't know, something that you've been putting off, or paying your bill. All right. For God's sake, right. Make a list of things that you have been putting off from such a long time and start tackling them one at a time. Do one difficult thing that you have been putting off from a very long time every day, each day. And apart from that, just look for opportunities in your environment to start without thinking, because more you do that, more it becomes muscular. More you become muscular. It's a muscle. How you build muscles? You build muscles by working out. So work out your starting muscle, right? Because following through is all about starting, taking that first step, right? So start as many things as you possibly can. And as you do these more and more, you build that muscle that translates into this confidence where you have more trust in yourself. You have more faith in your ability to see things through, ability to at least go and attempt and do your absolute best, you know, because many a time it's not in our control, but we can choose to act, right? So and over a period of time, these tiny things where you are going to override that inner voice, override that inner critic, these tiny little acts of victory over your weaker self is going to come together, and it's going to translate into this mountain of force, which people call confidence. It's not a gift. It's not that some people are gifted and some people are not. It's an accumulative effect of the daily choices that you make or you do not make. So that's all I wanted to share. Hope this was useful. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.